yesterday. Well, they'll be putting themselves up for assessment right now as we're going to be heading directly into the picks and the bans here. Nico, Gragas taking away initially, Seri and Sejuani as well.
Oh, I'm shocked. A Zeri ban in competitive, no way.
Oh, no way.
Watch this not be a Lucian. Observe, if you will. It's not Lucian, it's Milio, by the way. And...
I mean, you're giving us a lot of time to wait.
What kind of delay are we on? I don't want them to troll me here. Just ban it.
There's a timer beneath you. It's literally right beneath you for the red side.
There it is. It is the Milio.
It's Milio ban, so now it's going to be Lucian Nami on one side, and then it's going to be like Jinx or Aphelios on the other.
And then you throw Lulu with him, right? Or Yumi. Yumi's still open as well.
You don't throw Yumi of Jinx if they go Lucian Nami.
B1 Cassante. Okay.
Okay, they feel like they have possible counterpicks into a Lucian side. Lucian side doesn't feel like a Toaster champion. The problem is, Aphelios and Jinx don't feel like Toaster champions either. I think Sivir when I think Toaster. I think Varus when I think Toaster. The Aphelios is going to come out from Vanir. The normal response to that would be to go into Jinx. You could try your luck and just go Lucian Nami anyway. Lucian Nami is still very powerful in something like Aphelios, but you'd have a very short-range composition, and Aphelios loves short-range compositions because it allows him to utilize his white gun to its fullest potential. So you have the Aphelios come out, you have the Annie Hover. The Annie Hover makes sense as more like a takeaway, because what Aphelios doesn't want, if obviously what you want is like mid to low range compositions, you don't want long range engage, and Annie is able to give you that. So that makes sense as a takeaway, and is actually quite common. We're in the Aphelios Jinx portion. I'm interested to see what Toaster decides he wants to do. A Lucian Nami from Toaster would be weird, right? Lucian Nami is all about one-shotting your opponent with like a Lissandra, some kind of setup like that, which isn't what we think of when we think of Toaster's strengths.
Well, it's going to be Lucian.
Ooh.
Which means we're going to be seeing
for it. He's going for it.
Okay.
I mean, then you have to lock in Nami here, right? Otherwise, it'll just get banned away. Could obviously for the mid lane as well.
Milio was up, if Milio was up, you could maybe try go through seconds. But yeah, they're going Lucian Nami. Yeah, so Lucian Nami, very standard given that Lucian is available, and the meta is unpredictable. The Nautilus isn't as necessary now, right? If you're thinking about what you would want to take into a Lucian Nami and you have an Aphelios, I'd think Fresh would be your priority. You don't need to take Naut away unless you're worried Envy Carry would go it, but then Zapdo would have to go something other than Nunu, so I'm not sure that that's like a real threat here. But they have done the Nautilus. I personally would have just done the Fresh. But what they might also be thinking is the point-and-click aspect of Nautilus with the R is going to be a better way to control Lucian later on than just going with the Fresh, who would be better in lane, but would not necessarily be better in those later stages of the game.
Yeah, and also I think this is the formula we saw from Unique last game, right? This is the kind of the vibes that I'm getting right now. You have these relatively easy to utilize engages from a far distance here. Nautilus a little bit easier to engage with than the good old-fashioned Fresh you're talking so much about, and you're kind of huffing a little bit at the bans coming through here from the Maokai.
Okay, so the Maokai makes more sense for Vanir to want because they want point and click into the Lucian, and the Olaf makes more sense for Ruddy to want because they want something that can deal a lot of damage to the low mobility carries that Vanir have already got picked. So the bans feel really opposite to me right now. The Darius in response to the Olaf ban makes sense. They don't want to lock in the stat check on the immediate next one on the side of Vanir. The Wukong ban makes sense because Wukong is just the most broken jungler that's available and Vanir have priority on the fourth pick. I would assume this goes jungler either way though, and you'd want to be counter picking top lane. There is the jungler. It's going to be Lee Sin. Let's see what Ruddy have planned here, because they have to blind top. No, not top, sorry. They have to blind mid lane, possibly? Wait, I'm actually
I think it's the any mid lane, so it has to be top lane blind, right?
Does it have to be?
It could be.
I think it will be with the Nautilus support, right? So you're not going to have to go the any jungler top.
Lissandra's the best pick that they could do with the Lucian Nami as well. But I'm also wondering if it's not then better to go with Abyssal Mask Rush, Nautilus in mid lane and just go Annie on bot lane and try to blow up the Nami early. Both of these are point-and-click champions. That's the thing. Both of these are point-and-click champs. So actually deciding which one here I think they should be blinding is is strange. This also obviously reveals the Cassante's top lane. But that was most likely to be true either way.
I was really hoping for the noodle for Septo, but he's gonna start us off with the Viego instead, leaving options open here now for the top lane. What will they counter pick? Very interesting to see they're saving that counter pick for the thing that was insta locked by the side of Ruddy, but okay. I mean, you talked about it. It's kind of hard to counter the Cassandra. What does it best, do you think, Veteran?
Into Cassandra specifically, I actually really like Vayne into Cassandra. Kled is a dangerous option. If you dodge his Qs and you land your chains yourself, then Kled can be really good. It's a skill-based matchup. I think the only thing that like outright destroys something like Cassandra would be the Vayne, but that's unlikely to be something we've seen picked. This does give you a lot of options when it comes to plays around bot lane, though. We see a lot of Kleds like to recall and just run down bot lane on level 6. It's very, very effective. He's a very strong map-based presence that can get all of your range engaging. So I do like the Kled pick overall. The Lissandra Viego combo, though, my god. We already talked about how Lucian Army basically is a mid-game assassination pairing, but on that assassination, you gift your Viego a reset. Lissandra sets up that assassination really well. The composition is so synergetic, the one that Ruddy have, but there are options, right? They are technically outranged by Vanir. And Aphelios is going to really enjoy playing in towards that. So long as the Aphelios has a cleanse or a Mikhail's on him at all points to defend himself against the Lissandra, there's a lot of counterplay options on the side of Vanir. It's a difficult thing to just engage, blow someone up, and get the resets out. But it's a simple thing to do, and simplicity won the last game. So let's see if it can win this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, as my English teacher also always told me, kiss, keep it simple, stupid, right? Like that is one of the but that is like such a good formula, right? Especially when you are at the start of a season, right? Like when you're at the start of a season, we're talking about this, right? Because like yes, we have the Verdant versus Natives thing. We're talking about that. Like this is much more Verdant's favorite now than would be later on, because team synergies, etc., still needs to be fully developed, fully built out. And when you don't have those, like some of the more complicated compositions can fall through, because it's different playing like officials compared to playing in scrims, because something can work very well for you in scrims. All of a sudden, someone hits you in the head with a Draven, and then everything kind of falls apart, as we saw in the previous game.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by these drafts, especially the draft from Vanir. I like the Kled Lucian. I think not Lucian. Listen, it offers a lot, but I'm kind of like wait and see, because I think the composition that I like the most is actually the one from Ruddy. As you said, the Lissandra Viego offers a lot. I like the Lucian Army as well. You mentioned it's not really Toast style, but I think Toast, with that many years of competitive experience, he should be able to play it as well, to at the very least an acceptable degree, and get it. So I would favor Ruddy with the draft, but I'm open to see what Vanir has going on here, and I'm excited to see how it plays out, because I am intrigued by that draft.
We are just waiting for the game.
They will run at them and blow them up.
Run at them and blow them up.
That want to do that. Yeah, both teams kind of want to do that. Just the opportunities are a lot more telegraphed, I feel, for Ruddy. So, right, if the Sandra R is up, the Lucian R is probably up, and if those two things are up, go for it, right? Whereas on the other side, you're looking to try to channel your Kled R at really good points, get the Annie R on top of them, and then your follow-up off of that with the Aphelios is going to be quite dependent on the gun set he has, on the situation that you're in. It's a less of a telegraph thing. They really want to play more for these neutral objective controls and try to play in Fog of War there. That's how Vanir want to do it. But they have the range advantage. These are quite even drafts this time round. It's difficult to just choose a straight winning one. They both have their advantages. If you're allowed to maintain your range, you're gonna win out overall as Vanir. But if Lissandra, Viego, Lucian ever find one of you out isolated at any point, even vaguely, you're 2 pixels away from where you should be in the formation, boom, that's it, it's over, we've won the fight.
And as a great man from Liverpool once said, I don't do if, buts, and maybes, I only do absolutes. So I am going to need a winning prediction from either of you right now. Duckling first.
Ready.
Up the Ruddy.
Up the Ruddy. I am also going to say Ruddy from here. We are going to be getting into the game very shortly. And there we have it. Enjoy, guys. Take it away.
Oh wow, I am. Something has already happened. It seems like a level 1 play went awry from one team here. No one dies at the very least, so nothing happened while we didn't quite see it. Very intrigued to kind of find out what happened there. That seems like to be a weird interaction. No one managed to get the ward as well, but no one died. No one seemed to be losing much HP. So a little action early on. Worth to note is a ward has been placed from Vanir inside of. It is from Ruddy rather inside the Vanir jungle. We need to swap the overlays as soon as possible, as he will be spotted. Means PP Bad will obviously on his first clear be known where he is, as Kitano able to force Shihan out of the jungle.
Yeah, so it looks like Ruddy traded a topside jungle ward as a reaction to a bot side deep ward invade from Vanir. Would be really interested to see Aphelios' secondary runes here, because we have an early sweeper now as a result. This also indicates that Vanir think they'll win level 1, which by landing that hook they may do. It's just a difficult one to capitalize on. That ward that they've got in the brush that they've done it in, you do if you think you're going to win level 1-2. And therefore have a wave push, and then that ward has value. Because they're losing it, because Aphelios just doesn't have any abilities for this entire level, even though Nautilus landed the hook, that ward's not going to have much value for them at all. So maybe that was a reactionary ward to something that happened in a level 1 invade or something, but you're thinking a lot of yourself if you think you've got to take advantage of that ward during laning phase. As you can see now, they would much prefer to have a laning phase in the... to have a ward in the brush that Nami is in right now, rather than the brush that they chose, and that is the ward that you would do if you're assuming you're going to lose the first few levels.
If we're looking at Liam Cole's runes as well, we do spot the Fleet Footwear giving a bit of extra sustain here in the laning phase, which will help him keep his HP bar topped off and able to survive longer, as we do see Scepter going into his opponent's jungle. Vanir could spot him out here. PP Pat will definitely see him. Let's see if he goes for the fight though. Does have the smite available. Could typically be a smite fight. Q used, will get his own blue buff. Now Septo trying to fight with Piyu. The first in the rotation will get PP Bad out of his own jungle. The blue buff though still in control of PP Bad as he secured it.
Oh, he's going back in. He wants more of this Lee. Doesn't want Lee to be able to jungle.
And the thing is, now Septo has the smite advantage, so he should have been able to steal it away if PBBad didn't stop it. Now he could just look for the Grump himself. Still no smite on PBBad, so he will have to give up one of his camps here, as there's nothing really Vanir can do about it. They don't have the priority in any of the lanes, and they lose that Grump. It's a nice little victory there for Septo, even if he didn't get the blue buff.
Yep, and he knows that Lee is also delayed on this clear as well. That's information that can be utilized for other things. He knows Lee's not going to go back downside for Glomp, so Cassante knows that he needs to play the lane out a different way. And Vicari very happy to just apply more pressure for an additional wave he otherwise might not have been able to do so, but now he's able to move away at the exact point where Pippi Bar would be able to do something. So very safe lanes, very good start for Ruddy. They're going to be very happy with that. Some mess-ups by Vanir, but let's remember, last game, you know, the team that had the mess-ups at the start, they were the team that ended up winning overall. So nothing is decided yet by any means.
Yeah, it's now you can start writing your own story. A lot of familiar faces returning to the NLC, and a lot of new ones joining in as well. It allows them to rewrite their own history or write a new one in a new ERL. So excited to see who decides to drop this split and really surprises Vanir. I mean, they can only really surprise Vanir because they have a lot of rookies on their roster. I don't know what to expect from them. Whereas Ruddy, I have more of an idea, but it's not as veteran reliant as their spring split roster was.
Well, it would be very awkward if they did make the whole thing reliant on me, but I will say that their lineup last split did surprise a lot of us as well. And there were actually points where we figured they would be the ones to pull off the Verdant run that Verdant ended up doing. Obviously, it didn't quite materialize. It is always nice to see new names, though. And, you know, you had, speaking of, like, names here, to you, it seemed like Harbo was actually a much bigger name than NV Carry on the opposite side, am I right?
I mean, for me at the very least, with the terms of the level or the amount of games I've seen from them, Harbo has just been such a prolific name in the Danish League of Legends community if you are, you know, as I said, participating in the lands at the more grassroots level. So to finally see him get his chance is something I'm really, really excited for, because this is his big step into the big league, and if he can show his level here as well. I think the guy has a bright future ahead of him. So I am really waiting to see what story he will tell throughout the split.
Quite an early reset coming out of the Aphelios Nautilus here. It's going to translate into a potential roam on mid while Aphelios is stuck on the wave on bot. But now that Aphelios is doing that on this particular wave, he's in a less available position to make the play for the early Herald. Doing this, I would assume Vanir are looking to do something for Drake.
PvBad does miss the Sonic Wave, and that's an unfortunate situation. This could have potentially forced a flash or an ultimate out of MVK. Regardless, though, they get some damage down as you're looking at the silver linings here for Vanir as Zapdo. Now spotted out as well. First Drake on the Rift. Could be taken by either jungler, but Zapdo with the 8 XP and minion advantage due to his little counter jungling early on.
Yep. But the map state on bot side heavily favours the side of Vanir here. So Aphelios did do a very early reset if you're thinking about the Herald, but if you're thinking about the Drake, he got the kind of priority needed by being able to be in lane when Lucian Nami wasn't present, being that early on the wave to get a slow push in. You had the mid play coming out with the Nautilus and the Lee, and that has indeed translated into an early Drake here. So now the question is, do you try to pivot off of this as setup for the Herald? Because if you want to do that, the next play has to be going bot, playing on the Lucian Nami, getting that wave out again, getting an additional reset, and then shifting up towards the Herald. How much of the map do Vanir want to try to dominate? Because Zapdo is in your jungle, but right now, you're in the river at the points where you need to be.
Let's see as well for mid lane prio. It looks to be MVK taking the worst end of the trades. But in terms of minion prio, it is pretty much even Stevens, as it is now PvBad running up towards the top side of his jungle. 30 seconds until that Herald will spawn, and then we're really looking to see where the rotations come through, as it is a minion wave building up for the side of Ruddy on the bot lane.
Yeah, it's building up. No huge players being made, but you could easily see this turn into a rotation up towards topside. Or neither bot lane is interested in participating in an early Herald contest. And for Vanir, why should they, right? Vanir do have the priority on topside right now. They do have Annie getting the shove in. Lee could potentially start this just with the 3-man on topside, and Ruddy might be too late to stop that.
Toaster takes the turret shot there, has been able to acquire a plate throughout his pushes, as we do see the Herald now has been started up by the side of Vanir. They had the mid lane priority, they've rotated in Harbo, top lane priority there as well. So Kitana will assure that this goes over to the right jungle, PvBad, able to secure it with the help of the Eye. Collected as well, and now we're really looking to see what he can utilize this window for.
Oh!
Harbo could be in trouble, does have the flash, good flash over the wall, but it's not gonna matter. Frozen Tomb, and that's his doom. It is a first blood being picked up by Zapdo.
Well, if you ignore all of the Drakes and all of the Heralds, Ruddy are in the lead off that. That will translate into plates on Envy as well, and a much further denial on Harbo. Harbo, he was able to 1v9 when his teammates were gold, but now that his teammates are demanding a bit more from him than that, he is falling behind. He has no teleport.
Come on.
So that's a lot that he's losing out on the mid lane there. You set up the storyline, not me.
It was a 1v2, man. Give him a break. Okay. He's been winning the trades as well. He was ahead in CS.
Was.
He's still ahead in CS with full CS.
Yeah, and mate, Nord were winning, okay, but you need to have one, okay? So let's live in the here and now, alright? And if we live in the here and now, I'll let you live in the here and now if Harbo gets some sick 5-man engagement on the Annie, as is still possible, right? You have Lee with the Herald, you do have a way to still get Harbo back in on this game, but that's already a kill onto the jungler, a very important role to get the early kill on, and Viego a very important part of the composition. They can get him a reset in the first team fights, the rest of the fight goes much easier. It's essentially one on that point, so getting as much burst as you can on him, I think that's a good one by Ruddy.
I just want to point out Harbo missed the main as well. Completely unacceptable from the only goal carrier I know.
Very disturbing.
It's a disturbing performance. Regardless though, I have actually been very satisfied with his trades. A little mistake there being caught out after the Herald play. But in the end, it does open up the window for Ruddy, but it doesn't close the game for Vanir. As he continues to lose a plate there actually, as he is able to get a Q off. Regardless though, he's still 4 CS ahead, and I'll keep that in my notebook for Harbo winning lane. As PvBad could be looking for something. Level 8 to level 7 on Zapdo. If he finds someone like Pure or Toaster, he could definitely look for the insect. Doesn't have a ward, of course. Remember that, with the Herald still being in his pocket, but does have Flash available. Could look to make a play around bot lane with Garfield being there as well.
Yep. Looks like the first 4-man of the game. Remember that minion waves are still desynced at this point. So as Annie is moving bot, she's already starting to lose minions in mid. Envy has successfully brought Harbo back into mid lane to try and make sure he doesn't miss any of these minions. That's the issue now. There isn't as much agency from mid to side as there was beforehand.
6 out of 6 though. He got them all.
He got all of them, that's what matters. But you can see there, the ability to do stuff around the map matters much less now. It's about what your 2v2 can do in enemy jungle at this stage, at least for the next 2.5 minutes.
And now I'm looking at the Listen, right? Because for PPBet to be down 10 CS, unable to have gotten any kills early on, how big of a disaster is this for Vanir that Listen is not really doing anything?
The Lee Sin got Drake, the Lee Sin got Herald. The fact that they haven't found a good angle to place the Herald yet is the issue, right? I do actually think Lee's had pretty good control of the map. He recognized the timings that he had on bot lane to get the Drake. He recognized that the opponents were doing another slow push in on bot side and that he would have an empty window to get the Herald top. I'm actually quite happy with how Lee has performed over the course of the game. I definitely don't think that's the issue, no matter what Harbo defenders wish to state in their propaganda.
No, I'm not gonna just blame PPBet. I was just wondering if it was actually a deal breaker, the fact that he hasn't been able to get rolling early on, except for those neutral objectives. Zapdo forces the flash off Garfield. They could still look to chase him down, the Q away, as PPBet finds Shihan in the mid lane. And Garfield, he's out. Depth charge had to be used. The fight can still go on here. Herald placed in the mid lane. Kitano running forward here, does still have the charge available, and he will use it towards Envy Carry, but he's instantly being blown up himself, put into the frozen tomb, forced to flash away. Harbo so low as well, but in the backline, Zapdo dies to Liam Cole. Another fight might fully erupt as back in goes PPB. Double kill for Liam Cole, formerly Airspor, and he collects his first 2 kill in his NLC career.
That blue R from Liam Cole, I'm pretty sure that landed on at least 3 people there on the side of Ruddy. Did so much damage, and yeah, it looked for a minute there like Kitano bit enough more than he could chew, but he was able to get as much burst down as he possibly could and set up that blue R from Liam Cole. They used a lot to try to get onto Garfield. Garfield burned his R, but ultimately they used too much. They weren't able to get the turn that they needed, and it was the Aphelios that got the burst out to get the first proper kills of the game. You have to feel very comfortable as Vanir with that. It's kind of a mirror of the last game, right? The very opening stages, the very opening timings, Ruddy, they had Zapdo in PPBot's jungle, telling him how it was going to be. They get the first kill on mid lane, but after that, it looks like Vanir have a better grasp of the game once you have to start reacting to things around the map. Nice early plays by Ruddy, but Vanir, they're in the driver's seat now. Let's see what they do. Gold looks even, but the stats definitely are not.
Oof. I mean, these games today have been really, really exciting, and they're painting a very exciting picture for a whole league as well coming into the split, because I thought we had maybe 4 or 5 teams would just be better than the other teams, but so far, I mean, the teams that I was unsure of and I was having a lot of question marks about, they're showing up, they are coming here to play and not just to be absolutely steamrolled, which was one of the things we saw quite a lot last year from some of our bottom teams. This looks to be a very exciting split. If this level of performance continues from pretty much every team, we could see new teams winning every week, and those 4 playoff places could be very hard to predict.
All war is an information game, and Vanir, Unique, all these teams Forfall later on were winning it because we just didn't really know what to expect. Ruddy didn't know what to expect either, nor definitely didn't know what to expect, but now they know that they can expect a challenge for their spots, and those first 4 or 5 spots are definitely not as free as they may have envisioned.
Let's see what happens here though, because the second Herald is on the rift, and we have 10 members up towards the river as well, so it seems like someone wants to contest it. That's Kitano. Could be looking for something as the charge available. Toaster gets hooked, and he's just instantly evaporated into the hands of Harbo. Envy Carry, now the one trying to do something to disregard this fight and just get back out. But PPB caught over the wall, able to jump back over with a safeguard. No issue there. They just catch Toaster and find a free kill.
Yeah, very well done though. Obviously the play was I landed Q on Nautilus, now blow them up.
Oh, they cancel the TP as well. Garfield will pay with his life. I'm not sure what's happening or if it's a good thing. Regardless though, Harbo, another one in trouble, could look for Envy Carry. Will he find him? Tibbers, just slap him one more time, buddy. Won't happen. Double kill for Zapdo, and Envy Carry gets out alive.
Well, whether or not that was a good thing entirely depends on which team you are rooting for right now, because Ruddy fans are going to be very happy with that. Again, a play from this 2v2 in mid lane blows up the game. Zapdo, he's 3-1 now. MV carry able to press R on the list. Viego able to blow up on that R press. Looking very nice for them right now, but can they actually do that for once in a river fight? Because if they can do that, they can start winning these objectives. They have not been winning these objectives at any point. It's still a second Herald for Vanir. It's still 2 Drakes for Vanir. In 2 minutes time, let's see if Ruddy can pull that off when it matters, rather than when all they can get for it is a kill. Let's see if they can bring back the game.
Ooh, Katana. Almost being dismounted here. Don't know if it would be a bad thing even, considering the fact that there is PP Bat in the area to maybe come in. But regardless though, he recalls with the second Herald that he has secured as well. So we'll be able to get that down hopefully soon into good use for the side of Vanir, as it is Ruddy, who are back in the goal lead, 8,000 gold ahead. And as you said, it is all on Zapdo. We're looking for him to get the resets if Ruddy wants to win the fights.
Yeah, but his team is very good at doing that, right? Lucian Nami on these items is already reaching assassination potential. NV carry presses R. That guy's locked down to Kingdom Come, right? There are all the tools here to get Zapdo rolling. They just haven't been able to use it yet, and instead it's Vanir that have been setting up for their Phyllis. Their Phyllis holding on the blue-red right now. The highest damage gun set in the game across any range. Obviously, you'd rather just have 50 billion white boomerangs if you're 1 pixel away from your opponent, but across basically any range, red-blue is what you want. The blue art is what gave him the burst last time around, and he has max ammo on both. Well, not max ammo, but he has really good ammo on both. So looks like this is how they're going to enter. It's going to be a repeat of the last fight. Let's see if Vanir are able to get a repeat of the result.
Yeah, they still have a couple Crescendum guns available. As PvP, that does connect with the first Q Sonic Wave. Doesn't get taken, but a safeguard out to safety as MV carry goes forward with the claw. Liam Cole pushing in the lane will lose all his AoE damage here, but will have very good dueling guns as Harpo flashes forward. He wants the support, but he's unable to get it. Pew simply gets kicked out of the fight on the way back to safety. And in the front line, they get the resets. Zapdo resetting left, right, and center. Kitano solo and will be exploded yet again by Zapdo. It is underneath the third Liam Cole, forced to do it all, but he's unable to, as Zapdo will take him down as well. He'll find them all. How many was that? It's a quadra kill for Zapdo, as it is Ruddy who clean up the fight with a clean ace.
I do love watching a Viego reset comp sometimes. When it just starts popping off in a fight, it just so clean, slam after slam after slam. But it was a team effort to get the Viego there, and simplicity reigns supreme. Once again, the press R and blow them up composition has pressed R, has blown up Vanir. You had red-white guns on the affiliates that fight, and he got the white R off, but he wasn't able to get in range because getting in range to use it properly ended up meaning death for him. That fight was over before it began. Finally, Ruddy, they did it in the same place they'd done everything else, which is in the mid lane, but they did it at crucial timing with this Drake coming up, and they've nabbed that objective for themselves. This could be the start of the end. It's a 7-1-1 Viego. That window you need to get him to start slamming everybody on the opposing team and getting those resets off is now a very, very wide window. It's an incredibly easy composition for Ruddy to pull off from this point on. Let's see if they can just keep doing it at those proper timings.
I feel a bit bad for Vanir PU. Just barely survived the initial engage there from Harbo, and obviously Zapdo able to get the resets now. 4,000 gold ahead, having been able to pick up the third Drake as well. Have stopped the early Drake scaling. They're able to get another turret here as well, just to grow that gold lead. Every carry picking that up. 117, 7-1-1 on Zapdo. We can definitely see how this 2v2 has worked together, and it's been really, really good to watch this game, as they have now, really started to take over the Rift.
Yeah. Zapdo says, come on and slam, and he welcomes Ruddy into the Jan. They are now here trying to get the top spot that they figured they deserved last split, right? If you remember that, yeah. Ruddy were the guys that we thought would be competing for it.
Yeah, he's dead.
Slam.
Yeah, he's dead. That's 3 ultimates though.
He is Jam. He is Jam.
That is
right there.
That is no jungle for 30 seconds. With the Baron just recently spawned on the map. Can Vanir do anything here? I kind of feel like they can, to be honest with you, because it's 4 ultimates actually used there. So could they do something? I feel like they could do something here. Try and stop it. I mean, Eddie does a lot of good
No.
AoE damage in the pit, right?
I mean, they don't know that they're all in the pit, right?
Yeah, true,
For all
true.
they know, they're in the pixel brush, waiting for them to walk out. They're in the tri brush, waiting for them to walk out. They have no safe way to enter there. And even though MV carries is gone, you still have stuns, you still have knockups, you still have multiple ways there to lock someone down and get another reset on the Viego. It's not as simple as just interrupt them on the pit. If the entire area outside of the pit is just darkness for you, you have to model it as if they could be in any brush at any time. The trees are speaking, and Vanir are shrinking away from contesting that whatsoever, as well as they should, really. They just need to reset, try not to get caught again before the next objective, and then try to contest Ruddy if they end up splitting up, right? Ruddy's composition, it can be taken out the same way. You do have a lot of bursts on the side of Vanir, they just ultimately aren't finding it. It's not as brain-dead of a composition as Ruddy's, and as a result, you know, they're starting to just lose the game. Like, if one of these guys walks up too far towards the turret, and he could just, you know, drop Tibbers on top of him like a nuke, Affiliates could follow up and you could get a kill. No risk on the Nautilus there.
These turrets are melting, by the way. They are just
Oh,
disappearing
yes.
off the rift. Nothing Vanir can do about it. The goal lead is exploding into the favor of Ruddy. What I really like from Septo is the early itemization into a stopwatch, just to make sure he stays safe. He has a 700 gold bounty, and he needs to get the resets for them to still win the fight. Look at the item differential as well. 2.5 items on Toaster. 1 item and 2 different components here from Liam Cole, who will soon get his second item, I do believe, but about an item behind mid lane as well. 2 items reached for Envy carry. Same goes for the jungle. They are behind in every single goal now, Vanir, and it's a really deep pit they find themselves in, and I'm struggling to see how they get out of it.
I mean, Zabdo's on Twitter calling himself the Batman of Ruddy, the Batman of the NLC, and he's gotten one part down. He is certainly rich right now. All of the gold and all of the value is on this champion. He's playing very risky, but they can't let him give away his bounty. That guy's gone, and this entire gold lead basically vanishes between Ruddy and Vanir. So, yes, I like that Zapdo's trying to find these flanks, trying to find these ways to get into fights, but if he makes a mistake and he's the guy that gets blown up, this advantage from Ruddy could turn very, very fast.
We're waiting to see what happens in the next fight, because it feels like one more fight is all Ruddy need to assert themselves in this game and make sure that the victory will be theirs. With the Baron buff running off soon as well, we are reaching a soul point for Vanir that they could look to contest 2 items now on top and ADC. On the other hand though, jungle and mid far from those item points as Envy carry now goes forward. Gitano in the mid lane, maybe looking for something, does have the charge available. Harpo finds a 2-man stun, but he just instantly gets jumped upon, forced to flee from the crime scene, as now they try to lock up Zapdo, but he goes golden with the stopwatch to buy more time. They have to kill him, but they just can't. He's out for safety. Toaster though has died somehow, some way. Liam Cole finds him unbelievably. I don't know how, but they do. Somehow it's Vanir who win the fight. Harpo alive, Gitano alive. They could back and they could reset for the Drake.
Because whereas Zapdo survived, he was still out of the fight. Yes, they didn't kill Zapdo, but they removed him from the fight, and that was still enough to remove all of that gold. Toaster et al. Giving their life works if Zapdo's able to have any agency in the fight, but he wasn't able to because Vanir, they locked him down. The play opened up by your boy Haro that ended up having a lot of value, and now Vanir, they're going to be on soul point.
Yeah, that's the soul point for Vanir, right? As you just said, and it's an impressive one. Really gets them that extra bit of defensive utility. 1 more Drake away from the soul as well. Toaster a bit too far forward somehow in that fight. Didn't quite see what ended up bringing him into the front line, but he just died to Liam Cole, able to Gale Force into his face, I guess. Regardless though, as you said, Septo out of the fight. It's unfortunate for Vanir, they did manage to get the big bounty, but keeping out of the fight was still enough to turn the tides. And now the game feels really to be back on. The 2 item spikes are now being hit for Vanir. They're getting now their second items, and they're slowly but surely getting toward the third as well. I'm in particular waiting for Liam Cole to get the 3rd item, because he's been playing very well so far, staying safe for as much as possible really, and has been dishing out good damage in the meantime.
I mean, the options are still there for Ruddy, right? You still have all of that gold onto
PP bad.
Viego, and they're looking for it.
Garfield,
MV
if you target it down. They know he's in there now. PvP, they go on him. Kicking away Scepter, but he's still locked up. Will still get taken down. You have to feel no. He's out for now. But Toaster just gets deleted by Harpo. And now they're onto Scepter as well. This is turning out to be a horrible situation for Ruddy. Can they turn it around somehow? No, they cannot at the moment because it is just Vanir finding 3. They won't find more. You have to feel no. Kitano wants it, but a good dash away with the claw gets Envy carry out. Vanir find 3 unpunished.
They've severely overestimated the amount of damage that MV Carry and Zapdo do alone. If Toaster was in a position to unleash his full fury on the Lee Sin, that's a definite pick. But together, yes, you're 8-1-1, yes, you're rich, but you are not Batman, and you are not winning that fight immediately, alright? Or you are Batman, and in being so, you know, you didn't actually kill the Lee Sin. You want to be more like a Zack Snyder Batman rather than a Christopher Nolan Batman in this fight, and for that, you're gonna need some help. You're gonna need Toaster and his guns. You're gonna have to break your second wall. The Toaster wasn't there. The burst wasn't there. The Lee Sin lived, and Zapdo ended up having to give his life.
I'm gonna say something really embarrassing here, veteran. I've never watched a Batman movie, so I don't know. I don't really know who Zack Snyder is or whoever the other guy was.
There's like, it's such a dramatic turn to go from I haven't watched a Batman movie to I don't know who Zack Snyder is. Like, at that point, you just need to tell me you don't watch movies. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I don't really watch many movies. I recently watched Ted Lasso, really good series actually. I did it instead of studying for my law exam. Regardless though, Baron is just spawned and it's instantly being started up. I thought they would wait a minute, but no. They're going in 5,000 HP and dropping. Oh, where did he go? That's the hub I've been waiting for. He didn't have time to react. The charge is coming in as well. They want more here. Shihan forced to run. The flash is available and it is instantly used to try and get out to safety, but the depth charge will seal his fate. It is 2 more and a Baron for Vanir.
It's happening again. It is happening again. Vanir are upsetting Ruddy. The known quantities are losing to the unknown quantities. But my god, are the unknowns of the NLC remembering that this place was not built by the veterans, it was built by the rookies. And the rookies are coming back in force saying, this is our league, this is our time. You had your time, Toaster. Yeah, you have that record. Maybe you should stop trying to break it every split. And they are now threatening Ruddy's base on the next reset.
I don't know really what I'm watching. These games are so entertaining. I'm just getting more and more hyped for the NLC to continue playing out with the way the results are going and the way the games are going, because even if Ruddy end up winning this, I will still be impressed by the quantities Vanir showed here. They've showed a very high level and an ability to come back, despite them being very far behind in the game. They are now at a 1,000 gold lead. The Drake spawning in 50 seconds. That's the soul for them if they manage to get it. They haven't quite gotten the 3rd item on Liam Cole, but they've gotten 3 items on Harpo. We now see the damage that this guy has in his possession as well. 3 items on Kitano. He's pretty beefy in the front line. Here comes the charge as well. On towards Envy Carry. He will be hit up by it. Able to take the claw out. Now PvP forced to run as this looks kind of weird. Envy Carry locked up as well. The dip charge will be denied. Toaster forced to cleanse out to save the Shihan in the front line, taking up quite a lot of damage as the Herald charge. Or was that Tibbers? That was the Tibbers. Who just
the damage wasn't quite there. It was green purple guns on the Aphelios, and that R as a result was more utility R than anything. But now you do have blue gun, but you have no R anymore on the Aphelios. You don't have R anymore on Tibbers, as you've just said. You don't have R anymore on Kled. It's a shame because they only need to get this done once more, and then they have a soul that counters what Ruddy wants to do. Ruddy want to one-shot you. That soul makes you impossible to one-shot. This is what Vanir really wanted to contest, but it feels like they pulled the trigger a bit too early.
Let's see what PvP does here. He does have the flash kick available if he wants to go for the hero play. So many flashes available for both teams, as it is Zapdo in the front and we're looking at. He's the Fed member who needs to get the reset, so if Ruddy get 1, they could look to get more, but if no one dies for Vanir, it is certainly set to be a good fight. 7,000 HP and dropping on the Drake. PvP in the pit. Zapdo goes forward, hits up Kitano for a bit of damage, but it's not more than a bit of chip chip away at that HP bar, 5,000 HP, and dropping the claw goes forward. It will be taken by Envy Carry. And now the fight truly starts in the front end. It's Kitano, but he has the Guardian Angel. Remember that. Septo instantly goes into his Harpo Kite's back alongside Liam Cole Pivot in the front line. Septo finds the reset. Will it be enough as Kitano dashes forward and wants to be aggressive? He wants to set the tempo for the fight as the charge is back off cooldown, but you're charging in the wrong direction. It's a double kill for Liam Cole, who looks to get 3. The Danish man stays alive. Piu will fall to Kitano, who's finally found the right way to enter the fight. Septo running his kingdom, falling behind him. It's Vanir charging down bottom lane.
You want to know something about the Zack Snyder Batman movies, Duckling?
Tell me.
They were a failure, and Liam Cole ran away with that fight while Zapdo was so close and yet not close enough to taking him down. Liam Cole hung on by a thread, if you noticed there, on 200, 300 HP, but able to grab the triple kill. He's 6-1-3. On this reset, you have to think they just run it back straight down towards that Drake pit. They'll be there first. That should be solved for them. Or are we going to have a second contest? Did that fight elongate so well that Ruddy have a second chance at life? Because that Drake is death if Vanir are able to take it. And it looks like, despite winning the team fight, they've simply put themselves in a marginally better position for the next one.
And this time the ultimates are back up, so be aware for the all-in for Ruddy. It is so much more effective with the culling, with the Frozen Tomb to follow up. No flashes really on the main carries here. Both mid and AD carry missing it, support missing it as well. Yes, the top junglers might have it, except for Zapdo. But the main guys are without their most important abilities to get out of danger. I'm in particular looking at Liam Cole, as you said, surviving on a sliver of HP last time to turn the play around. This time, no cleanse, no flash to get out. Let's look at Envy Carry. Envy Carry is looking for the flank. You have to walk forward here. Pew almost instantly deleted as she had all-out Harpo away. The Drake's still falling, and there goes Toaster. It is a one fight for sure. They get the soul, they get the kills, they get everything. Vanir are doing it.
Yeah, Vanir are making it happen. Ruddy are supposed to be the Mr. Make It Happen, but Vanir are showing them how it is done. They're pushing through mid lane. They have that soul. That fight happened from so many angles for Ruddy, and they weren't able to keep track properly. I think Vanir have done it, by the way. The Baron is coming up. They have soul for that. How did they lose this?
I can't believe what I'm watching, but it is so insane. These rookies stepping up. They are showing that they deserve to be on this level, and it is so good to see. Toaster 0-5-6. I mean, Envy Carry, yes, he's 1-2-9. That's not bad considering 9 assists out of 10 kills. So he's been involved in everything this game, but they just haven't really been able to drag themselves over the finish line, Ruddy. It's all on Septo and his resets, but they've been unable to find them in the past couple of fights. And the resets they find are not the massive ones. It's not a Liam Cole, it's not a Harpo. It's someone like PP Bat or someone who's just simply a bit more frontline. It doesn't allow you to really get another reset instantly after.
PP Bat could have maybe been a good reset if they were able to get on top and assassinate the Aphelios off of it, but they hesitated on those moments, and thus they weren't able to find it. Vanir aren't just first on the Baron, but it looks like Ruddy aren't really feeling the contests. They're playing for mid push. I guess they don't realize how fast this Baron's really getting done, or they figure the best case scenario is to try to break the base now and they won't get a better chance to do it. But with the Baron recalls, Vanir should be looking to just try to set up a final fight.
Maybe an Elder flip? I mean, that's always the good old
4 minutes
right? You can always flip around Elder.
It's 4 minutes time, and so we're going to see Elder. Vanir don't know where Ruddy are. They're going to get flanked! This could be it.
There's a cleanse on Liam Cole. There's no flash on either of the Vanir carries. As the recalls now come through instead, they're not going to commit to the flank. Even though it would have been a 5v4 in favor of Ruddy. They're resetting, they're backing off, they're not making the aggressive play.
Could have been, but Kled does have the TP, so if they're not confident in their ability to just one-shot Vanir, then it will be a 5-on-5 overall, and Vanir so far have been winning in the long run on these fights. That's the thing. Ruddy have a composition that's really good in the short term, right? They have a lot of frontline burst, a lot of crowd control, and if that is all able to work in the first few seconds, they win the fight. Now that's less likely. And if Kled's TPing in as well, now you just lose the game off of it. It's difficult for Ruddy to find these angles. That would be a perfect one in any other circumstance, in any other game state, but not in this one. And unfortunately, this is the one that Ruddy find themselves in. Their base is breaking. Mid lane's gonna be next. Bot wave is not set up at all for that. And now you even have a flank angle open for Vanir on the top side if they ever decide to use it, which they apparently don't. Apparently a really good time to get wolves as well, Aphelios, fair enough.
Oh, wow. Kitano deleted that turret very, very quickly. Has his GA back up now as well.
Blue R.
As you say, blue gun AoE gun is very, very good. Kitano instantly gets demounted, but does it really matter? No, it doesn't.
No, it does not. And the Aphelios only got one person, Shihan, with the R, so what I thought was going to be a very explosive blue R didn't actually quite get to materialize, unfortunately. That is the 200 years gun, if you remember all of those videos. The 200 years videos of Aphelios just blowing everything up, that was the blue R on like a crowd of 5 people happening. But he unfortunately only landed it on one person though.
Would have been an interesting watch regardless of now Harpo. Could get hit up here. Yes, he's CC'd and he might actually go down without being able to do anything. Yes, a chain CC to secure the kill, but they won't allow the reset. Instantly into the GA is Septo. As now MVK forced to flash away, the claw is used, but it's not taken back. It's Liam Cole just hitting away, and she unforced to all out away from the fight. Septo chased down by P-Vet. Yes, he jukes the Sonic Wave, but this looks to be all she wrote for another upset in the NLC. 2 for 2 as Septo falls. NVK could look to try and TP back to the turrets, but they would melt before his eyes. Liam Cole hitting away at the Nexus, taking the victory. 2 out of 2 upsets to kick off our NLC Summer 2023 season.
The unknown variables are the ones you have to be the most